How you guys doing? This is Mark Williams of Seven Lamps Ministries. As I promised, I was gonna make a video about my past experience with the movie industry, Hollywood, by way, of course, of the Philippines. And I'm happy to be here. God is blessing. God is really good. I wanted to talk about this movie that I was a part of when I was 17 years old. I'm taking a walk down the street now. It's very, very bright, but you know, God is good. It's beautiful out here. When I was young, I was a movie buff. I always watched a lot of movies, and I loved filmmaking. I loved making movies. I loved editing movies. I loved doing things like entertainment, things that involved entertainment. And so I lived in the Philippines for a few years, and I got involved in theater in high school. And because I got involved with theater in high school, you know, in the Philippines they have a lot of opportunities as an extra. You can be an extra in a movie. I've actually been an extra in a movie called Noriega, and I got an opportunity. The next opportunity I got was to be in a movie called Under Heavy Fire. It actually has two titles. It's Under Heavy Fire, and the other title is called Going Back. You have movie stars like Casper Van Dien who are in this movie, Bobby Hosea, who acts in soap operas. Casper Van Dien is very well known. He did Starship Trooper, and he did other movies like Tarzan. And we got other people that have actually been in the Hollywood scene as regular actors. That's their day job. The cast consisted of Casper Van Dien, James Woolvett, Bobby Hosea, Kenny Johnson, Daniel Cash, Carrie Otis, and Martin Cove. And it was a privilege. And I thought it was so neat that I had this opportunity to be in a movie. Now, the thing about it is, in theater, when I was in theater school, I had an agent because I signed up to be in movies or in commercials, and I had an agent, and she would find movies to where I can be in. And I never thought I would be anything higher than an extra at the time, because that's the way I just thought it was. But when this group from California came down, you know, Casper Van Dien, Sidney Furie, and Bobby Hosea, I started as an extra. But because they found out that I had some experience in theater and in films, they actually drafted me to have a part in the movie. Now, the part was very small. I had just a few speaking words, but the experience of actually being in a movie and being part of the film was actually pretty cool. Excuse me for the dark shades. But yeah, I just thought I should show you a little bit of why I am very, very passionate about filmmaking. I love filmmaking. Of course, I have other things that God has given me to do. God has allowed me to be able to preach, and God has allowed me to be able to sing. I mean, work on cars. I mean, build things. I mean, it's endless. You know, the Bible does say, when you have a talent, you should increase your talent. And so God has allowed me to be able to increase my talent. I'm doing other things too. I actually edit and make films or videos. And it's interesting because with this passion that God has given me with the film industry, like with Hollywood, He took that and He moved it to actually making videos for Seven Lamps Ministries, making videos for other people too, making videos and photos, which I thought, you know, it's like transferring what you would have done for evil and putting it for God's good use. So when I was young, I watched James Bond, I watched Marvel, I watched all kinds of movies. I loved movies. I loved the action. I loved the shooting and explosions and everything. I wanted to be an actor myself, and I was actually very close to become an actor myself. Let me tell you a story. After being in that film Under Heavy Fire or Going Back, I actually flew. I came to the United States to go to school, and after a short period of time, I actually flew to California to try and see a way I could somehow enter into the movie or the film industry, and it didn't work out. And I actually spoke to one of the actors in the film going back, and he said, you know, the most important thing you should do is to finish school. And that was one of the wisest counsels I received. About at that time, he said he just said, you know, you need to finish school, get your education, and then come back and try and see if you can get into the entertainment industry. And you know what? That was good advice, and that's the advice. If you want to do anything, of course, going to school, getting educated in what you are trying to do is always the best thing to do. Now, I got a little shade here. So basically, that's what happened, and that's how I got into the passion for making films. It went from the passion of making films in the world to now making videos on Seven Lamps Ministries, making videos and music, singing, and all that stuff. That passion for doing things in the world was now transferred to a passion for making videos and films for Jesus and spreading the gospel, speaking the plain, straight testimony to wake up God's people for the second coming of Christ. Now, I'm going to show you footage of the movie. I would not suggesting watching the movie. The movie is unwholesome, but I wanted to show you some clips of what I was able to do in the movie and the passion that came from being in a movie and actually participating in the movies and being able to now use that for God's cause.
Oh, shit. That man, that. The point. I ain't getting my black ass waiting for no...
The bush. And in the bush, you ain't white, black, or nothing. Just green, baby. You got that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Get up, Chicago. I'll take the point.
Drinks for the poor.
Kool-Aid.
Thanks,
Hey,
Father.
thanks, Padre.
Hey, Father, can I ask you a question? Were you drafted?
They're in draft priest.
What are you
Hey.
doing? Sorry. All right.
Point. Reaction squad, on me. Hold up! God damn. Corporal Calder, take 2 men south, you're 60. 20 meters to my front. Red, Eric, come with me. Got it. Roger, come on, move it. Red, Eric, let's go. What happened here? Chicago. Tripped the booby trap, sir. Think it was a shell or something.
Fires came out of both sides, Captain.
Okay, you'll be okay. Where's Ray?
I don't know, Captain.
Skipper! Skipper! Over here. What do you got? That's Ray's helmet, sir. They got him.
Now, there is something that I've been able to do. I was able to get together with some friends and some colleagues of mine, and we were able to make a movie called Are You Ready?, which is based on the great controversy, based on when the Sunday law would be passed and the things that may happen at the time. I was able to put together a script, and a friend of mine was able to produce it and put things together. And from the introduction to the parts of the scenes that were placed in that film was pretty good for people that didn't have that much experience in comparison to Hollywood. I think it worked out pretty well. And you could actually, I would encourage checking out that film. I will try and somehow link it to this video I'm making. The thing is, I was on my way to Hollywood. In high school, I sang. In college, I sang. When I went to TSU, I sang. But I wanted to get into movies. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be like, Idris Elba or Gooding Jr. I wanted to be like these actors, but you see, and I could have been successful. I wanted to also be an athlete. I wanted, when you're an athlete, you get into that world, you can easily branch off into becoming an actor. And one example of someone that has branched off and has become an actor is Dwayne Anderson? I think I have the right name. Dwayne Johnson. There we go. I got the wrong name. Dwayne Johnson was a wrestler in the WWF, and now he's a movie star. So, I mean, I was thinking if I could be an athlete or be a movie star, find my way into that, I mean, that would be an awesome experience to have as someone that has always wanted to be in that sort of environment, being amongst people that act in movies. And, I always looked up to those people. And it's interesting. Like even now, I'm always at 3BN and I'm at GYC and GC and God puts me in places like that so that I could use the gifts that He's given me for Him instead of using the gifts that He's given me to do filmmaking for Hollywood or secular movies and stuff of scenes of that nature. So God has blessed me, and He has placed me in places where I can, the Word of God says, your gift will make room for you. And I have met a lot of people. Even before I became a Seventh-day Adventist, I sang at a political dinner in the Galleria with politicians. I've been able to meet very, very important people, and I've been privileged to meet movie stars and be friends with them and so on and so forth. Of course, I don't keep in contact with them like every day. I'm not like, a best friend would be, but I have them as friends. I can always send them a message. I can always talk to them. Like Bobby Hosea, very, very kind-hearted guy. Always been able to contact him and just say something to him, and he'll give me advice. So these people are lovely people. But, God took the passion for filmmaking and being in movies and being an actor and put it in my heart to do Seven Lambs Ministries. In fact, the funny thing is, when I got married, before I got married, when I met my wife, she's actually the one that inspired me to just say, hey, why don't you start your own ministry? Why don't you start Seven Lambs Ministries? And it has been a success because through the ministry, we've been able to, at some points, we'll be able to be blessed, go to different places. I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Kansas City. I've been to Maine. I've been to, I'm trying to think here. I've been to Maine. I've been to parts of Texas to sing. And I've been to Chicago, Illinois. I mean, that's one of the awesomest experiences I've ever had, is being in Chicago, Illinois, just looking at Illinois and how Chicago and how beautiful the buildings are and how big they are, and so God has really blessed, and He's still blessing. And for someone that wants to do ministry, and God has called you to do ministry, and God has called you to do films for start a video ministry where you preach and you sing and all that stuff. As you get higher, as God elevates you and pushes you up and higher, the devil will attack you. The devil will try and destroy you. He'll either try and destroy you. He'll either try and destroy your family. He'll either try and destroy your reputation. He'll send many people and to say something that is not true. He'll twist your words. There's a quote by Ellen White which she says that it will happen, at the end times, before Jesus comes, that people will rise up against you and to destroy your reputation, your character. But the interesting thing is, if you read in Isaiah 41:10, the Lord says, I'm with you, I have not left you. And God basically says that the people that were incensed against you, they shall be like no more. God will deal with them. So what you have to do when you're in ministry, it's not going to be a rosy road. If you're truly a Christian and you're serving God with all your heart, it's not going to be a rosy path. It's going to be filled with thorns, and you just got to pick the roses, and you got to smell those roses and cut off the thorns. But anyway, enough about that. What else do I want to say about that? This is a little short video I thought I would make. And, God has been really, really blessing. Things are moving along. And I just want to thank you guys, all my subscribers, for supporting the channel and watching the videos. Of course, I have friends that watch this video and they say good videos and say good things about it. And of course, I have enemies that would look at the videos and try and use the information in the videos against the cause. But you see, God is watching them. And I'm not even going to worry about it, because Ellen White says that we should not worry about our reputation, that we should just keep on moving forward and focus on doing the Lord's work. Okay, let me talk to you about what this movie or this film is about. This film is a film about Vietnam. It's meant to be kind of like a movie, kind of documentary. How long am I? Okay, 15 minutes. That's good. It's kind of like a movie documentary where it shows what happened in Vietnam. And my character's name is Chicago. Chicago was a soldier, and he was in Vietnam, and throughout the movie you could see the drama. I mean, of course you're not going to watch the movie because I can't download it. I had to kind of somehow did a screen record, but of course I wouldn't recommend watching the film because it's not a Christian film. My character was named Chicago. I was one of the soldiers that actually died in the movie, and this movie was about the war in Vietnam, and it was a very sad movie because the movie shows a company that was a company, a reaction squad, a reaction company to where they were fighting in Vietnam, and a lot of casualties, friendly fire. There was women and children that were killed, and it just shows the sadness of war. And it just shows some of the things that happened in the Vietnam War, about lives that were just wasted and things of that nature, and just really highlighting what people went through in Vietnam and how, these soldiers that went to fight the fight for America, a lot of them died serving the country. So in essence, in the movie, I was a Marine. It's interesting because I've always wanted to be in the military. I've always wanted to be in the Air Force, and it's interesting because in this movie I was actually a Marine, and my nickname was Chicago. And so I just wanted to say for my veterans that I want to say to my veterans, God bless you. Thank you for serving this country. You guys basically sacrificed your life to protect America. And so we in America, we that are on the soil, American soil right now, enjoying freedoms. We eat, we drive, we go to work, we go to the store. We do things, we go to the beach, we spend time with the family, we eat on a dinner table, all the family members are there. But there are people in the military right now, and the people that have died in the past that were in the military, that joined the military so that they could serve their country. They left the comforts of life to serve their country. They left the comforts of life. To experience people getting shot, their friends getting shot. They saw people dying in front of them. They saw people coming back home with PTSD. And it's funny, it's interesting. I'm doing 25 push-ups in 25 days. And Pastor Nehemiah Filatogo nominated me. It's so interesting to raise awareness for PTSD and all that stuff. And it's all about this, people that were in the military, how they basically gave their life for their country. And I think it's just a wonderful heroic effort to give your life for your country. America is free because of the people that gave their life to serve this country. Getting shot, getting their legs blown off, getting their arms blown off, getting their heads blown off. It's something that is commendable, is something that is admirable. I just want to thank my mom because I am in some form of servitude right now. I'm actually an EMT. I've been an EMT for over 10 years. So I started in 2008 and I've been an EMT for about 12 years. There we go. I've been an EMT for 12 years. Now, being an EMT, you're serving your community. You're going out picking up sick people. In some cases, you are attending to someone that has been in an accident, that is badly hurt. I've had a chance I'm kind of like a combat medic. It's actually something I wanted to be, a combat medic. In my life as an EMT, I've been able to resuscitate one person. I've actually saved one person's life. One other person, I did CPR in the hospital. I did CPR so hard on him that his pulse returned, but he still didn't live, which was very sad. I've witnessed people die on the ambulance because they were DNR, which is called Do Not Resuscitate, and they were on their way to dying. They had a very bad case of cancer spreading to their whole body. I've done many things in my EMS career. In the EMS field, you don't get paid very little. You could ask a firefighter, you could ask a police officer, you can ask those people. You don't get paid a lot. So you kind of have to do a little something extra to make ends meet when you have a family. And it goes to show when you're serving your community and you're doing the job or kind of jobs that requires you to see blood. I've seen blood a lot of times. Requires you to see death. Those are not the kind of jobs that you really get paid a lot for. Recently, with the COVID-19, I came to the grips one time. The first time they asked me to pick up a patient that was tested positive for coronavirus, COVID-19, I had to make a decision. I said, you know what? I don't know if I want to bring that home. I don't know if I want to quarantine for 14 days. But God has been very faithful because even right now, from time to time, once in a while, within the past 4 days since this coronavirus thing started, I have been picking up coronavirus patients. Of course, I've been gowned up. I've worn my mask that Tanya made me. I've put on the gown, put on the mask, and we've been extra careful. We've been washing our hands, hand sanitizing, and cleaning our equipment, the ambulance, and everything of that nature. I've been serving my community, and you see, in the EMT and the EMS field, it's kind of like being in a battlefield, it's being in a war. We pick up patients that are contagious for anything, like MSRA. You have patients that are contagious for viruses, and we have to pick it up. That is our job. Our job is to pick up those patients, take them to the hospital when they need it so that they can survive. So we put ourselves in harm's way to make sure that these patients can live longer, more quality life. So it's kind of like being in a war, but it's not it can never compare. But it's like because of the job that I do as an EMT, I've placed myself I've willingly placed myself in harm's way to serve my community so that people's lives can be better, so people can live. And so I just want to thank my mom there's a time in my life where I couldn't find a job. I used to work as a call center telemarketer, Southwestern Bell, AT&T. And I was an assistant supervisor before they laid people off, and I was one of the people they laid off. And I couldn't find a job. I looked for a job at Pizza Hut. I looked for a job everywhere, but they kept saying I was overqualified. So my mom made a suggestion. My mom was like, I want you to go try out for being an EMT. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, honestly, when I saw an ambulance, I thought the guy driving the ambulance, the only thing he does is just drive. Big mistake. An EMT drives the ambulance, and also he is at the back taking care of the patient, making sure the patient doesn't die, making sure the patient's vitals are good, and making sure the patient is cared for, having to do whatever he has to do to make sure the patient is okay. Now, so I don't want to get too much into that. That's another testimony. I think I have that on my page. You can check it out. And God has been blessing, fantastically blessing. So God is good. Look, if you want to support this channel, go ahead and support it. You are absolutely free. And I pray that it encourages you that when you're thinking of doing something for the world, pray and ask God to show you so that you could do something for Him through the gifts and talents. God bless you. This is Seven Lamps Ministries. We'll be making more videos. I have some more videos coming up. God bless you. Bye-bye.